Have you ever asked yourself why some people seem to command attention the moment they speak? Have you ever asked yourself why your words sometimes fail to inspire, persuade, or leave an impact even when you know what you want to say? If you've ever felt that gap between what you want to communicate and how it comes across, then this audiobook is for you. Speaking like a leader is not about being loud. It's not about using fancy words or impressing others with knowledge. True leadership in speech comes from clarity, confidence, and connection. It's about choosing your words carefully, speaking with intention, and inspiring action with every sentence. In the next chapters, you'll discover the mindset and techniques that turn ordinary speaking into extraordinary leadership. You'll learn how to cultivate confidence before opening your mouth, how to use tone, pacing, and emotion to command attention, and how your body language can reinforce every word you say. You'll see why storytelling is more than entertainment. It's the tool leaders use to make their ideas unforgettable. We'll also explore how to handle pressure, respond to tough questions, and maintain your composure in challenging moments. You'll understand why consistent communication builds trust, credibility, and influence over time. And perhaps most importantly, you'll learn that becoming a leader in speech isn't about perfection. It's about daily practice, reflection, and the courage to step forward even when your voice shakes. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just understand the principles of speaking like a leader. You'll have a roadmap to put them into action. You'll be equipped with practical exercises, insights, and strategies to transform how you communicate. Every word you speak will carry more weight. Every conversation will become an opportunity to inspire, persuade, and lead. So take a deep breath and commit to the journey. This is your moment to step into your voice, to claim your influence, and to start speaking with the power of a leader. Your words have the ability to shape your world, and from today, you'll learn to make them count. Chapter 1, the power of words. Words are far more powerful than most people realize. They carry weight, influence, and energy. They can inspire, motivate, and create action, or they can confuse, discourage, and close doors. The words you choose define not only how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Leaders understand this. They don't speak randomly. They speak deliberately. Every word is intentional, every phrase measured, and every sentence crafted to leave impact. Think about the last time someone's words moved you. Maybe it was a mentor, a teacher, a friend, or even a speaker on stage. Chances are it wasn't the length of their speech that affected you. It was the clarity, the confidence, and the resonance of their words. The power was in how their words connected with your mind and your heart simultaneously. That's what speaking like a leader does. It aligns reason with emotion, intellect with feeling, and purpose with expression. Words shape perception. Every time you speak, people judge you. They assess your confidence, your competence, and your credibility in milliseconds. A poorly chosen word can make you seem uncertain. A carefully selected phrase can make you seem unshakable. Leaders know that language is not just communication, it's influence. Even the simplest words, when delivered with precision and intention, can inspire action and create trust. But here's the catch. Most people underestimate the internal work behind external words. They focus on speaking well or sounding intelligent, but neglect mindset. Speaking like a leader begins inside your mind with clarity of thought, conviction, and focus. Your words only carry the weight of your belief. If you don't believe in what you're saying, neither will anyone else. The first step in harnessing the power of words is clarity of thought. Before you open your mouth, know exactly what you want to communicate. Break down your ideas, simplify them, remove unnecessary complexity. People don't remember convoluted speeches. They remember ideas that are clear, concise, and compelling. The clearer your thinking, the more powerful your speech. The second step is intentionality. Every word you speak should serve a purpose. Are you trying to inspire, persuade, educate, motivate, entertain? Leaders do not waste words. They use language as a tool to achieve specific results. Random chatter may fill space, but deliberate speech fills minds. Intentionality makes your voice a force rather than background noise. The third step is emotion. Words are vessels of energy. Facts alone rarely move people. Emotion is what makes words resonate. Anger can ignite change. Passion can inspire. Calm confidence can reassure. When leaders speak, they blend facts with feeling, logic with passion, and clarity with resonance. Emotional connection makes your message memorable. Without it, words are just sound waves. They lack impact. Consider famous speeches throughout history. Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, they understood the weight of words. Each phrase was crafted to evoke feeling, to provoke thought, and to move people into action. Their speeches weren't perfect in grammar or complexity. They were perfect in purpose and power. That is what leaders aim for. But the power of words is not only external, it is internal. The way you speak to yourself shapes your confidence, your mindset, and your energy. Leaders use language to reinforce their own power. They replace doubt with affirmation, uncertainty with conviction, and fear with focus. Self-talk is not trivial. It's the foundation of influence. If your words about yourself are weak, your words to others will never be strong. Here's a secret many overlook. Silence is part of the power of words. Pauses, deliberate pacing, and well-timed pauses make words heavier, more resonant. Speaking too quickly or filling space with unnecessary words diminishes impact. Leaders know when to speak and when not to. The space between words allows people to absorb, reflect, and feel the weight of what you're saying. Another critical element is tone and cadence. Two people can say the exact same sentence, yet one inspires and one falls flat. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. A firm, calm, deliberate tone communicates authority. A rushed, hesitant tone communicates uncertainty. Cadence, the rhythm of your speech, can draw people in, keep them engaged, and make your message unforgettable. Leaders refine not only the content of their words, but the delivery, ensuring alignment between voice, emotion, and message. Words also build relationships and trust. When you speak clearly, authentically, and consistently, people begin to rely on your judgment. They recognize your credibility. They trust your insight. Leadership is as much about relationships as it is about authority, and words are the bridge that connects minds and hearts. Influence is not manipulation, it is alignment. You align your words with values, action, and purpose. That alignment is what makes a leader's speech magnetic. Let's talk about practical application. Start by listening to your own words. Record yourself, read aloud, and notice patterns. Are your sentences clear? Are your words intentional? Do they inspire or confuse? Practice speaking with purpose. Use active, concrete language. Replace filler words with strong, precise alternatives. Focus on clarity before complexity. Use metaphors, examples, and stories to make ideas stick. Next, practice alignment of thought and feeling. Before speaking, center yourself. Take a breath. Visualize your message being received exactly as you intend. Align your intention with your emotion. Words spoken without conviction are hollow. Words spoken with belief carry weight. This is the difference between a good speaker and a leader. Finally, embrace continuous refinement. No one becomes a master overnight. The greatest leaders continually refine their vocabulary, delivery, and presence. Every conversation is a chance to practice. Every presentation is a chance to improve. Leadership through speech is not a destination, it is a journey. Remember, your words are your most powerful tool. They shape perception, influence behavior, build trust, and inspire action. Every time you speak with intention, clarity, and conviction, you step closer to the leader you are meant to become. Words have the power to move mountains, change minds, and transform lives. And the most important person you must move first is yourself. When you believe in your words, others will too. Chapter 2, Mindset Before Speech. Have you ever asked yourself why some people speak with such confidence that their words feel like commands while others hesitate, stumble, or fade into the background? Have you ever asked yourself why you sometimes know exactly what to say, yet when the moment arrives, the words just don't come out right? The answer isn't in the vocabulary you use, the cleverness of your phrases, or even the hours you've spent preparing. It begins inside your mind. Before your voice can carry authority, before your tone can inspire, and before your words can influence, your mindset must be aligned. Speaking like a leader is not just a skill, it is a state of being. It is a combination of self-belief, clarity, emotional control, and preparation that allows your words to land with impact. Without the right mindset, even the most rehearsed speech can fall flat. Even the most brilliant ideas can go unheard. The first component of mindset is confidence. Confidence is not arrogance. It is not the loudest voice in the room. Confidence is quiet, internal, and rooted in preparation and self-trust. When you believe in your message, when you trust your ability to deliver it, the audience will believe it too. Confidence communicates authority before a single word is spoken. Leaders develop confidence by understanding their material, practicing their delivery, and trusting their instincts. But confidence alone is not enough. Clarity of thought is essential. A mind cluttered with doubt, fear, or scattered ideas cannot produce impactful speech. Before you speak, you must organize your thoughts, know your key points, understand the message you want to leave behind. Leaders don't wander through their sentences. They guide their audience from point A to point B with deliberate intention. Clarity ensures your words land where they are meant to, and your audience understands exactly what you mean. The next element is emotional preparation. Emotions are powerful. They can amplify your message or undermine it. If you step into a conversation anxious, angry, or uncertain, your words will carry that energy. Leaders learn to regulate emotion before speaking. They breathe, center themselves, and focus on the impact they want to create. Emotional control doesn't mean eliminating feeling. It means harnessing it to enhance clarity and persuasiveness. Visualization is a powerful tool for emotional and mental alignment. Picture yourself speaking confidently. Imagine your audience engaged, listening, and absorbing every word. Envision the energy in the room responding to your presence. Visualization primes your mind and body to perform in reality as it has in your imagination. Leaders use this technique before every important speech or conversation. Another essential aspect of mindset is self-awareness. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Recognize the triggers that make you nervous or cause hesitation. Understanding yourself allows you to anticipate challenges and prepare responses. Leaders are not flawless, they are self-aware. They leverage their strengths and compensate for weaknesses, ensuring that their words convey authority and authenticity. Preparation is critical, but so is letting go of perfection. Many people stumble because they are trying to say everything perfectly. They overthink, over-rehearse, and freeze under pressure. Leaders speak with intention, not perfection. They accept that mistakes may happen and use them as opportunities to adjust and continue. The right mindset embraces imperfection while remaining unwavering in purpose. Let's talk about resilience in speech. Even with the right mindset, you may face interruptions, criticism, or unexpected questions. A leader's mind is resilient. They maintain focus, recover quickly from missteps, and continue with authority. Resilience is built by experience, reflection, and confidence in your message. Every challenging interaction is a chance to strengthen your ability to speak under pressure. Mental rehearsal is another key practice. Leaders rehearse not just the words, but the mental state needed for speaking. They anticipate challenges, imagine tough questions, and prepare themselves emotionally to respond calmly. This rehearsal builds neural pathways that make confident speech feel natural, even under stress. Another component of mindset is purpose-driven communication. Ask yourself, why am I speaking? Who am I serving with these words? What impact do I want to create? Leaders speak with purpose. Their words are aligned with values, goals, and the needs of their audience. Purpose transforms speech from empty words into a vehicle for influence, action, and inspiration. Mindset also requires mental discipline. Distractions, self-doubt, and fear can sabotage even the best prepared speaker. Leaders cultivate discipline by controlling their focus. They limit internal chatter, resist the urge to compare themselves to others, and center their energy on what they can control, their preparation, their delivery, and their presence. The physical mind-body connection also plays a role in mindset. Posture, breathing, and even subtle facial expressions can influence how confident and persuasive you feel. Leaders practice aligning their body with their mind. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and allow your body to reinforce the message your mind wants to convey. Confidence grows when the body and mind are synchronized. Practice in low-pressure environments is key. Speak to yourself in front of a mirror. Record your voice and listen critically. Practice small conversations with friends or colleagues. Every rehearsal strengthens your mindset. Every repeated practice embeds confidence, clarity, and emotional alignment into your nervous system. One of the most overlooked aspects of mindset is compassion toward yourself. Leaders do not berate themselves for mistakes. They treat errors as lessons. They recognize progress, celebrate small wins, and maintain a growth mindset. Self-compassion removes fear, which is often the greatest barrier to confident speech. When you are kind to yourself, you give yourself permission to speak freely, authentically, and powerfully. Remember, the audience senses your internal state. If your mind is scattered, anxious, or uncertain, your words reflect that. If your mind is clear, purposeful, and confident, your words resonate. The battle is won before the first word leaves your mouth. The internal alignment of confidence, clarity, emotional control, and purpose creates the external projection of leadership. Mindset before speech is the foundation. Without it, no technique, no vocabulary, and no practice can create leadership presence. But when mindset is strong, every word becomes intentional, every sentence becomes impactful, and every interaction becomes an opportunity to influence and inspire. So, Before you speak, ask yourself, am I clear? Am I confident? Am I aligned emotionally and mentally with my purpose? If the answer is yes, your words will carry weight. If the answer is no, take a moment, recalibrate, and step forward when you are ready. Leaders speak not only with words, they speak with presence, conviction, and preparation. Chapter 3, tone, pace, and emotion. Tone, pace, and emotion are the secret ingredients that transform ordinary speech into powerful leadership communication. These are the tools that allow words to resonate, to persuade, and to leave a lasting impression. Without them, even the clearest ideas can feel flat. Tone is the first key element. Tone is more than a pitch or volume. It conveys authority, confidence, and credibility. Imagine two leaders saying the same sentence, "We must act now." One says it in a calm, steady voice. The other rushes, sounding anxious. Which one would you trust? Which one would move you? The calm, deliberate tone communicates certainty. The anxious tone communicates doubt. Leaders master tone because they understand that the emotional weight of words depends on how they are delivered. Tone also communicates authenticity. A speaker who uses a natural, confident tone signals honesty and self-assurance. People can sense when someone is forcing authority or overcompensating. The key is to speak from alignment. When your words, your mind, and your emotions match, your tone will naturally convey strength and credibility. The next crucial element is pace. Pace is the rhythm of your speech, the speed at which words are delivered. Speaking too fast creates confusion. Speaking too slow risks boredom. Leaders use pace strategically. They vary their rhythm to emphasize points, create suspense, or allow ideas to settle in the minds of their audience. Pauses are your allies. They give weight to important statements and give listeners time to absorb what you are saying. Consider a leader giving a crucial instruction. A well-placed pause before the key point draws attention and signals importance. A rushed delivery, even with perfect words, often fails because the audience cannot keep up. Mastery of pace is mastery of control over attention. Emotion is the final and perhaps most powerful element of speech. Words alone rarely move people. Emotion gives them life. Passion, calm, confidence, urgency, empathy, all these emotional cues communicate meaning beyond the literal content. Leaders understand that connecting with an audience's feelings creates influence far stronger than facts alone. Emotional resonance makes words unforgettable, but emotion must be intentional and aligned. Overwrought displays can feel manipulative or chaotic. Understated emotion can feel cold or uninspiring. Leaders calibrate their feelings so their energy amplifies their message rather than detracting from it. The audience feels what the speaker feels, so the internal state of the leader is reflected externally.
Let's discuss practical ways to master tone, pace, and emotion.
Recording and playback. Record your speech or practice sessions. Listen carefully. Note where your tone fluctuates unintentionally, where pacing is too fast or slow, and whether emotion feels authentic. This self-awareness is crucial. Control. Controlled breathing affects tone and pace. Deep, steady breaths create calmness, authority, and energy. Breath not only supports your voice physically, but also mentally, keeping your emotions grounded. Leaders control their breath to control their voice and, in turn, the room. Volume variation. A flat, monotone voice loses attention. Modulating volume without shouting helps emphasize points and maintain listener engagement. Leaders learn to raise their voice slightly for critical points and lower it for intimacy or reflection. Pausing for effect. Strategic pauses are more powerful than words. They allow the audience to process ideas, heighten anticipation, and emphasize importance. Silence is a tool. When used correctly, it amplifies impact. Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and speak your message. Observe facial expressions, gestures, and voice. Adjust tone, pace, and emotional delivery until it feels authentic and commanding. Storytelling. Stories naturally engage emotion and allow for tone and pace variation. Leaders integrate anecdotes to humanize their message, evoke empathy, and anchor ideas. Emotional content creates memory hooks, making messages stick. Feedback loop. Seek honest feedback from trusted peers or mentors. They can help you identify areas where tone or emotion may misalign with your intent. Growth in leadership speech is accelerated by external observation. It's also important to understand the psychological effect of tone, pace, and emotion on your audience. Tone communicates intent. Calm authority instills trust. Urgency inspires action. Warmth builds connection. Pace directs attention. Rapid speech energizes. Deliberate pacing allows reflection. Emotion evokes response. People remember how you made them feel long after they forget what you said. Leaders often use tone, pace, and emotion strategically in combination. For example, starting a speech with a calm tone and measured pace builds credibility. Then shifting to a slightly faster pace and passionate tone at key points energizes the audience and drives action. This dynamic use of speech elements transforms listeners from passive observers into engaged participants. But there's another layer. Alignment with body language. Your tone, pace, and emotion must match your posture, gestures, and facial expressions. A confident tone paired with slouched posture creates mixed signals. A passionate tone paired with weak eye contact diminishes impact. Leadership speech is holistic voice, emotion, and body form, a single coherent message. Another secret is emotional resilience. Even the most confident speaker experiences nerves. Leaders acknowledge this, but do not let it control delivery. A controlled nervous energy can actually enhance performance if channeled into tone, pacing, and emotional intensity. The key is self-awareness and preparation. Remember, mastery is not about perfection. It's about practice, awareness, and intentionality. Over time, tone, pace, and emotional alignment become second nature. Speaking like a leader is not a performance. It's a state of being where your words carry conviction, clarity, and energy effortlessly. Finally, consider the long-term impact. When your tone conveys authority, when your pace directs attention, and when your emotion connects deeply with others, your words become more than sound, they become influence. People will listen, remember, and act. Your speech becomes a tool for change, inspiration, and leadership. Leaders are not born with perfect delivery. They cultivate it through self-awareness, practice, and alignment of mind, body, and emotion. By mastering tone, pace, and emotion, you are not just speaking, you are leading. Chapter 4, Body Language Speaks. Have you ever asked yourself why? Even when someone speaks well, you sometimes still don't trust or follow them. The answer lies not in the words themselves, but in body language. Your posture, gestures, facial expressions, and overall presence speak louder than any sentence you can form. Leadership communication is a silent language of authority, confidence, and credibility that your audience perceives before your first word lands. Mastering it transforms ordinary speech into compelling influence. Every movement communicates. Every stance conveys intent. Every facial expression signals emotion. People subconsciously interpret these signals, and they use them to judge confidence, competence, and trustworthiness. Leaders understand this and intentionally cultivate body language that supports and amplifies their message. The foundation of body language is posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, chest open. Your posture signals confidence and authority even before you say a word. Slouching communicates doubt. Crossing arms often conveys defensiveness. Leaders create alignment between internal confidence and external posture. This creates instant credibility. Next comes gestures. Hands are powerful tools for emphasizing points, illustrating concepts, and creating rhythm in your speech. Leaders avoid distracting, fidgety movements. Instead, they use purposeful gestures to reinforce key ideas. Open palms convey honesty and transparency. Pointed gestures can direct focus or emphasize urgency. The way you move your hands can make abstract ideas concrete and memorable. Facial expressions are equally important. Your face communicates emotion more directly than your voice. A smile can build connection and warmth. A raised eyebrow can signal curiosity or challenge. Eye contact communicates engagement, confidence, and authenticity. Leaders use their facial expressions intentionally, mirroring their message and reinforcing trust with the audience. Let's discuss alignment. Your body, words, tone, and emotion must all communicate the same message. If you say, "I'm confident," but fidget, avoid eye contact, or slump, the words contradict the signals your body is sending. Alignment creates consistency and trust. And leaders understand that congruence between verbal and nonverbal communication is non-negotiable. Another key element is presence. Presence is the energy you bring into a room. It's how people feel your authority before you speak. Leaders cultivate presence by being fully engaged, aware of their environment, and grounded in their intention. Presence requires awareness of posture, breath, gaze, and spatial dynamics. A strong presence communicates focus, clarity, and control without saying a single word. Let's break down practical strategies for mastering body language. Mirror practice. Stand in front of a mirror and rehearse speeches or conversations. Observe gestures, facial expressions, and posture. Adjust until your body naturally reflects confidence and alignment. Video feedback. Record yourself. Watch not only what you say, but how your body behaves. Notice gestures, micro expressions, and habits that may undermine your authority. Leaders refine through observation and iteration. Breathing and grounding. Calm, controlled breathing grounds your body and projects calm confidence. A tense, shallow posture communicates anxiety. Leaders synchronize breath with movement to maintain composure and authority. Intentional gestures. Each gesture should have a purpose. Avoid random movements or repetitive habits that distract. Use gestures to emphasize key points, illustrate ideas, and create visual rhythm. Eye contact. Engage your audience visually. Leaders make eye contact strategically, scanning the room, connecting individually and reinforcing sincerity. Avoid darting eyes or fixed stares. Balance is key. Spatial awareness. How you use space communicates confidence. Leaders occupy space without being aggressive. They position themselves in ways that allow visibility, engagement, and approachability simultaneously. Micro expressions and authenticity. Subtle expressions can convey honesty, surprise, or concern. Authenticity matters more than perfection. Leaders allow genuine emotion to show while controlling expressions that may undermine credibility. Body language also conveys emotional intelligence. Leaders who understand nonverbal cues can read the room, sense engagement, and adapt in real time. Adjusting posture, gestures, and facial expressions based on audience feedback allows leaders to connect deeply and maintain authority. People are influenced as much by what they see as by what they hear. Another vital component is intentional movement. Walking, turning, and positioning yourself during speech can enhance engagement and emphasize key points. Leaders use movement deliberately, not distractingly. Movement draws attention, signals transitions, and reinforces messages without words. Resonance is critical. Every movement, every gesture, every expression should resonate with your message. Incongruence between body and speech diminishes influence. Leaders refine alignment so that body language amplifies the impact of their words. The audience perceives confidence, clarity, and authenticity, making messages more compelling and memorable. Body language also affects internal mindset. Standing tall, maintaining open gestures, and holding strong posture actually reinforce your confidence internally. Your body and mind are connected. Confident body language triggers a more confident mindset. Leaders leverage this mind-body feedback loop to ensure their internal state matches their external presentation. Finally, remember this. Mastery of body language is not about rigid rules or performance. It is about intentionality, awareness, and authenticity. Leaders do not fake confidence. They cultivate it, align it, and express it naturally. Every movement, gesture, and expression becomes a silent reinforcement of the authority and clarity conveyed in words. When words, tone, and body language align, your presence commands attention. People listen more carefully, trust more deeply, and respond more willingly. Leadership is as much about what is seen as what is heard. Your body is your silent amplifier, your nonverbal voice. Chapter 5. Storytelling and persuasion. Have you ever asked yourself why some leaders can make a simple idea unforgettable, while others struggle to make even the most brilliant concepts stick? Have you ever asked yourself why certain speeches move you to action, while others leave you indifferent, no matter how logical or informative they are? The answer is storytelling and persuasion. Words alone rarely inspire lasting action. Logic informs the mind, but stories move the heart. The most influential leaders are master storytellers. They craft narratives that connect, persuade, and leave lasting impressions. Through stories, abstract ideas become tangible, complex lessons become relatable, and messages are remembered long after the speech ends. Storytelling is not about entertainment, it is a tool for influence. Every leader, consciously or not, uses stories to shape perception, communicate values, and drive action. A well-told story engages emotion, creates context, and allows listeners to see themselves in the situation. It transforms your message from a lecture into an experience. People don't just hear stories, they feel them. And feeling is the precursor to action. Let's break down why storytelling is so powerful. Connection. Stories bridge the gap between speaker and audience. They humanize you, showing your experience, vulnerability, and insight. Listeners relate to challenges and triumphs, building trust and credibility. Emotion, facts appeal to reason. Stories appeal to emotion. Emotional resonance drives motivation. A listener may forget statistics, but they will remember a story that made them feel something profound. Leaders harness this to inspire and persuade. Retention embedded in a narrative is easier to remember. Leaders who want their ideas to stick wrap them in context, character, and conflict. Stories create mental anchors for key points. Persuasion is most effective when it is subtle. Stories guide people to conclusions rather than dictating them. A well-crafted narrative allows the audience to arrive at the intended message organically. Effective storytelling begins with clarity of purpose. Before you share a story, know why you are telling it. What is the takeaway? What action or reflection should your listener have after hearing it? Leaders select stories that reinforce the core message, illustrate principles, and inspire behavior. Random or irrelevant stories dilute impact. The next step is structure. A compelling story has a beginning, middle, and end. It introduces characters or a situation, presents challenges or conflict, and resolves with a lesson or insight. The narrative arc mirrors the human experience, making the message relatable. Leaders use structured stories to guide audiences through an emotional and intellectual journey. Authenticity is essential.
Listeners can detect inauthenticity immediately. A story resonates only if it is genuine or grounded in truth. Leaders share experiences that reflect real challenges, lessons, and growth.
Authenticity builds trust and allows audiences to internalize the message. Now let's consider persuasion techniques embedded in storytelling. Contrast, show the difference between two paths, one leading to success, the other to failure. Contrast clarifies choice and motivates action. Cause and effect, demonstrate consequences of decisions, highlight how actions lead to outcomes. Cause and effect give stories relevance and weight. Vivid imagery, use sensory details to create mental pictures. When audiences can see the situation, they engage more deeply. Relatability, introduce situations or emotions your audience has likely experienced. When listeners see themselves in the story, the message becomes personal. Suspense, hold back information strategically. Build curiosity and engagement, then deliver the key insight or lesson at the right moment. Let's talk about the emotional connection. Every story carries an emotional undertone. Leaders modulate tone, pace, and expression to amplify emotion. A pause before a climactic moment builds tension. A soft tone conveys vulnerability. A firm, deliberate tone communicates resolution. Emotion is what makes the story memorable, actionable, and persuasive. Persuasion is also about alignment. Your story, your purpose, your emotion, and your delivery must all align. If the content is compelling, but the delivery lacks conviction, or the emotion feels forced, the story loses impact. Leaders refine every element to ensure that words, emotion, and intent resonate seamlessly. Practical tips to improve storytelling and persuasion. Collect stories. Keep a journal of experiences, lessons, and anecdotes. Over time, you will build a personal library of relatable stories for various topics. Practice delivery. Rehearse aloud. Observe tone, pace, and gestures. Make sure the story flows naturally and emphasizes key points. Use personal experience. Audiences connect most with stories that are real, personal, and authentic. Leaders do not invent grand tales. They highlight real lessons from real experiences. Engage the senses. Describe sights, sounds, and feelings. Create vivid mental images to immerse your audience. Pause for reflection. Allow moments of silence after key points. This gives your audience time to absorb and internalize the lesson. Tie back to purpose. End every story by linking it to the main message. Ensure your audience leaves with the intended insight. Storytelling and persuasion also extend beyond formal speeches. Every conversation is an opportunity to influence. Whether in meetings, interviews, or casual discussions, the principles remain the same. clarity, structure, authenticity, emotional connection, and alignment. Leaders understand that every word can persuade, every story can inspire, and every interaction is a stage for influence. Another critical element is the balance between logic and emotion. Relying solely on facts may appeal to intellect, but rarely inspires action. Relying solely on emotion without structure may feel hollow. Leaders blend both, facts to inform, stories to connect, emotion to move, and clarity to guide. This balance ensures that messages are not only heard, but felt and remembered. Finally, persuasion through storytelling is about empowering others. The goal is not manipulation, it is influence aligned with integrity. Leaders inspire confidence, motivate action, and illuminate possibilities. Stories guide audiences to insights that feel self-realized rather than imposed. The best leaders don't tell people what to think. They help them see, feel, and decide for themselves. Remember, words influence, stories resonate, emotion moves, and alignment convinces. Leadership through speech is not about talking more, it is about speaking with impact. Every story you tell is an opportunity to connect, persuade, and inspire. Every moment of silence, every deliberate pause, every gesture enhances the effect. Mastering storytelling and persuasion requires practice, reflection, and intentionality. Leaders continually refine their narrative skills, study human psychology, and observe what resonates. Every speech, every conversation, every presentation is a chance to grow stronger, more persuasive, and more impactful. Stories are the bridge between your words and your audience's hearts. Speak with clarity, connect with emotion, and persuade with authenticity, and your leadership will be remembered long after your words are spoken. Chapter 6, Handling Tough Questions and Pressure. Leadership is not tested in comfort zones. It is revealed in moments of challenge, scrutiny, and high stakes. Every tough question, every unexpected scenario, and every pressure-filled situation is an opportunity to demonstrate authority, poise, and credibility. How you respond under pressure defines not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Pressure is inevitable, whether in meetings, presentations, interviews, or public debates. You will face situations that challenge your knowledge, confidence, and composure. The key is not to avoid pressure, it's to master it. Leaders develop the mindset, skills, and presence necessary to respond effectively even when circumstances are difficult. The first step in handling tough questions is preparation. Preparation is not just knowing the facts, it is knowing the landscape, anticipating objections, and understanding the audience. Leaders consider potential questions in advance, identify areas of vulnerability, and craft responses that are clear, concise, and confident. When you prepare, pressure transforms from a threat into an opportunity to shine. Confidence is born from preparation, but it is reinforced by self-awareness. Know your strengths, know your gaps, and be ready to acknowledge uncertainty gracefully. Leaders do not pretend to know everything. They leverage honesty and composure. Saying, "I don't have the answer, but I will find it," conveys responsibility and credibility, far more than fumbling through a guess. Authenticity under pressure builds trust. Another essential skill is active listening. Before responding, listen carefully. Pause, absorb the question, and ensure you fully understand what is being asked. Responding impulsively without comprehension often leads to errors or miscommunication. Leaders use active listening to not only answer effectively, but to demonstrate respect and intelligence. Next is structured thinking. Pressure can cloud thought. Leaders develop a mental framework to approach difficult questions. Clarify, restate, or summarize the question to ensure understanding. Pause. Take a moment to collect your thoughts. Respond with key points. Identify 1-3 core points relevant to the question. Close strong, reinforce your message, solution, or stance. This method ensures answers are coherent, confident, and purposeful. Emotional regulation is another cornerstone. Pressure triggers, stress responses, racing heart, shaky hands, tight throat. Leaders learn to manage these physiological reactions through controlled breathing, visualization, and mindset strategies. Calmness projects authority. Anxiety projects doubt. When your internal state is steady, your external presentation radiates control, even under scrutiny. Handling pressure is also about adaptability. Unexpected questions or challenging scenarios require flexibility. Leaders remain focused on the outcome rather than rigidly following a script. They listen, assess, and adjust responses in real time. Adaptability is a mark of true leadership. It communicates intelligence, confidence, and resilience. The art of turning challenges into opportunities cannot be overstated.
Every difficult question is a chance to reinforce credibility, demonstrate expertise, and connect with your audience. Leaders view challenges not as threats, but as platforms to showcase composure and authority.
A well-handled tough question leaves a lasting impression, often more than a rehearsed speech ever could. Let's discuss strategies for building resilience under pressure. Mental rehearsal. Visualize difficult scenarios and your ideal response. Anticipate challenging questions and practice responses in a calm, deliberate way. Controlled breathing. Use deep, steady breaths to maintain composure. Inhale confidence, exhale tension. Breath control keeps the mind and body aligned. Positive self-talk. Replace fear-driven thoughts with empowering affirmations. Remind yourself of your preparation, knowledge, and experience. Leaders reinforce self-belief before and during high-pressure moments. Focus on the message, not yourself. Pressure often triggers self-consciousness. Shift attention from fear of judgment to the purpose of your message. Leaders focus on impact, not perception. Pause strategically. A brief pause before answering allows clarity, prevents rash responses, and signals thoughtfulness to the audience. Silence can be a powerful ally. Embrace mistakes as opportunities. Even leaders occasionally stumble. What defines them is the ability to recover gracefully. Correct mistakes confidently. Continue and reinforce credibility. Resilience matters more than perfection. Audience awareness. Observe cues from your audience. Gauge understanding, interest, and reaction. Adapt tone, pacing, and emphasis accordingly. Leaders communicate dynamically, not rigidly. Handling pressure also requires internal confidence that transcends external circumstances. External conditions, hostile questions, critical audiences, unexpected interruptions cannot always be controlled. What can be controlled is your response. Leaders cultivate mental fortitude, a calm mind, and unshakable focus, allowing them to maintain authority regardless of environment. Another crucial aspect is preparing for questions you cannot predict. Leaders train their minds to respond logically, confidently, and assertively. Techniques include reframing the question, connecting it to broader themes, or using storytelling to illustrate points. Flexibility combined with strategic thinking ensures even unexpected challenges become opportunities for influence. Confidence, preparation, emotional regulation, and adaptability together create mastery under pressure. Leaders who embody these qualities are not just surviving tough questions, they are thriving in them. Practical exercises to strengthen handling pressure. Mock Q&A sessions. Practice with peers or mentors, asking challenging, unexpected questions. Timed responses. Train the mind to formulate clear answers quickly, simulating real-life pressure. Reflective analysis. After each high-pressure situation, review performance, identify strengths, and plan improvements. The mindset behind handling tough questions is as important as the technique. Leaders approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. They view obstacles as tests of presence, clarity, and composure. This mindset transforms anxiety into opportunity, hesitation into confidence, and pressure into influence. Remember, the audience perceives more than your words. They sense your internal state, your composure, and your intention. A calm, aligned leader communicates credibility. A nervous, reactive leader communicates doubt. Mastery under pressure is ultimately about internal alignment, mind, body, and purpose, working together. Finally, consider the long-term impact. Each time you face pressure and respond effectively, you build trust, credibility, and influence. Leaders grow stronger with every challenge. Your ability to handle tough questions and high-pressure situations becomes a defining characteristic, separating ordinary communicators from those who are followed, respected, and remembered. Chapter 7, Consistency in Communication. The secret isn't talent. It isn't luck. It is consistency. Consistency in communication is what separates great leaders from those who inspire only occasionally. Consistency creates trust, builds credibility, and shapes influence. Every time you communicate, you either reinforce your leadership presence or erode it. The daily habits and systems you put in place determine whether your voice is heard, remembered, and respected. Consistency begins with clarity of purpose. Every day, every conversation, every interaction must align with your core message and values. Leaders know who they are, what they stand for, and what they want to communicate. Without clarity, words become scattered, messages inconsistent, and credibility diminished. Your purpose acts as a compass, guiding your speech, ensuring it consistently resonates with truth, authenticity, and impact. But purpose alone is not enough. Consistency requires a daily system. Your voice, like any skill, grows stronger with deliberate practice. Just as an athlete trains daily to maintain peak performance, leaders must train their mind, tone, and communication skills consistently. A daily system ensures progress, reduces uncertainty, and builds confidence. Without structure, brilliance becomes fleeting. With a system, it becomes habitual. Let's break down what a daily focus system for communication looks like. Morning alignment. Begin each day with intention. Reflect on your goals, the messages you want to communicate, and the impact you wish to create. Journaling or a few moments of mindful reflection can set the tone for clarity and purpose throughout the day. Daily reading and listening. Leaders absorb knowledge continuously. Read influential books, articles, or speeches. Listen to skilled communicators. Observe how they structure ideas, use tone, and connect emotionally. Each day of exposure strengthens your own ability to speak with impact. Practice sessions. Dedicate time each day to practice speaking. Speak aloud, record yourself, and refine tone, pace, and body language. Even 5 to 10 minutes daily builds neural pathways that embed confidence and fluency into your communication style. Feedback loop. Seek regular feedback from mentors, peers, or trusted colleagues. Identify areas for improvement Celebrate strengths and refine your delivery. Feedback turns repetition into growth. Reflection. At the end of each day, review your interactions. Ask, where did I communicate effectively? Where could I improve? Reflection strengthens awareness, which is the backbone of consistent growth. Consistency also requires mindset discipline. Leaders do not rely on fleeting motivation. They rely on structured practice and focus. Motivation fluctuates, but a well-designed system ensures that growth continues regardless of mood, energy, or circumstance. Discipline creates reliability. It ensures that every conversation, every speech, and every interaction aligns with your leadership vision. Another pillar is habitual storytelling. Stories are the vehicles through which your message resonates. Leaders incorporate storytelling into daily practice. Even short anecdotes or illustrative examples shared consistently reinforce credibility, connection, and influence. Over time, this builds a library of impactful narratives ready for any occasion. Consistency is also about language refinement. Every day, pay attention to the words you use, both internally and externally. Replace filler words with clarity. Choose language that reinforces confidence and authority. Leaders refine their vocabulary and phrasing habitually, ensuring that every word strengthens their presence. Let's talk about audience awareness. Consistency doesn't mean rigid repetition. It means reliably aligning your communication with context and audience. Observe reactions, adapt tone and delivery, and maintain the essence of your message. Leaders remain flexible while staying anchored in their core values and purpose. A daily focus system also incorporates energy management. Your delivery is a reflection of your internal state. Consistent communication requires consistent energy. Leaders cultivate routines, sleep, exercise, nutrition, meditation that sustain physical, mental, and emotional stamina. Energy fuels clarity, tone, and presence, making consistent impact possible. Another key element is mind-body alignment. Posture, gestures, facial expressions, and voice are all tools that must be trained and practiced daily. Leaders synchronize body and mind to ensure that every message is delivered with authority, authenticity, and impact. The body becomes an instrument for consistent, confident communication. Consistency also strengthens trust and credibility. An audience quickly notices inconsistency. When leaders communicate with reliable clarity, integrity, and presence, people trust them. They know what to expect. Their message becomes a steady, dependable force in their environment. Trust is built over time through consistent action and speech, and it is easily lost through inconsistency. Let's consider practical exercises for maintaining consistency. Daily vocal warm-ups. Just like an athlete warms up muscles, your voice needs regular care. Practice breathing exercises, articulation drills, and tone modulation daily. Reflection journal. Record daily interactions. Note what went well, what could improve, and lessons learned. Small, consistent reflections compound into mastery. Story bank. Maintain a catalog of personal experiences, metaphors, and lessons. Review and practice them regularly to ensure they are ready for communication at any moment. Micro practice opportunities. Use brief moments, emails, short presentations, conversations to consciously practice clarity, tone, and presence. Leadership communication is built in small, repeated actions. Mindset. Begin and end each day, reinforcing purpose, confidence, and focus. Mental alignment ensures that consistency is not mechanical, but authentic and energized. Consistency in communication also creates momentum. Every day you practice, refine, and deliver with purpose. Your skills compound. Confidence grows, clarity sharpens, and influence expands. A single day of brilliance is temporary. A disciplined system of daily focus produces lasting leadership impact. It's important to note that consistency is not perfection. Not every interaction will be flawless. Not every speech will inspire immediate action. What matters is the cumulative effect of persistent, intentional effort. Leaders understand that growth is gradual, and consistency is the engine that drives mastery over time. Finally, consider the ripple effect of consistent communication. When your words are aligned with action daily, people notice. Your reputation strengthens, trust deepens, influence multiplies. Consistent leadership communication transforms not only your own presence, but also the culture around you. People begin to mirror clarity, discipline, and focus, amplifying the impact of your leadership. Chapter 8, Advanced Influence and Leadership Presence. Influence is more than persuasion. Presence is more than charisma. Together, they form a magnetic force that draws people in, inspires action, and cements trust. This is the final frontier of communication mastery, the point where technique meets authenticity, preparation meets energy, and words meet action. Leadership presence begins with self-mastery. You cannot inspire others if you are not in command of yourself. Self-mastery is the awareness and control of your thoughts, emotions, and energy. Leaders who project presence have trained themselves to remain calm under pressure, focused amid distraction, and authentic in all situations. Presence is a reflection of internal strength. It is not performed, it is lived. Influence, in turn, grows from credibility and trust. People follow those who demonstrate knowledge, integrity, and consistency. Influence is the result of cumulative actions, speech, and presence over time. You cannot fake trust. You must earn it daily. Every interaction, every choice, every word either builds or erodes your credibility. Leaders understand that influence is not granted, it is cultivated. One of the most powerful tools of influence is emotional connection. Facts inform, logic persuades, but emotion motivates. Leaders connect with their audience by understanding their feelings, aspirations, and fears. Through empathy, storytelling, and resonance, they create a sense of alignment. People don't follow instructions, they follow leaders who make them feel understood, inspired, and capable of action. Another essential aspect is energy projection. Presence is not silent, it radiates. Leaders communicate through posture, voice, and movement, projecting energy that matches their message. A confident stance, a clear, warm tone, and purposeful gestures create an aura of authority and accessibility. This energy is felt before a single word is spoken, and it shapes the audience's perception immediately. Let's explore practical ways to cultivate advanced presence and influence. Internal alignment. Ensure your thoughts, values, and intentions are consistent. Presence is authentic when your internal state matches your external expression. Mindful engagement. Be fully present in every interaction. Avoid distraction, multitasking, or rehearsed delivery. True leaders command attention through focused energy. Strategic storytelling. Use narratives not just to inform, but to persuade and inspire. Stories anchored in emotion and purpose amplify influence far beyond facts alone. Your voice is a primary vehicle of presence. Tone, pace, and modulation communicate confidence, authority, and empathy. Practice subtle variations to match content and context. Body language as amplifier, posture, gestures, and eye contact. Extend your presence. Leaders move and position themselves intentionally to reinforce credibility, energy, and engagement. Charismatic authenticity. Presence does not mean performing. It means amplifying your authentic qualities in ways that resonate with your audience. Authenticity is magnetic. Influence also involves perception management. People judge leaders not only by words, but by composure, clarity, and decision-making under pressure. How you respond in challenging situations affects how others perceive your authority. Leaders consciously shape perception through consistent, aligned communication and decisive action. Another critical element is active listening and adaptability. Influence is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. Leaders who listen attentively adjust to feedback and respond thoughtfully, demonstrate empathy and intelligence. Presence is magnified when others feel heard, understood, and valued. Influence grows when your words are in tune with the needs and emotions of those around you. The next layer is strategic vulnerability. Authenticity includes acknowledging limitations, sharing lessons learned, and admitting mistakes. Leaders who show controlled vulnerability foster trust and human connection. It does not weaken presence, it strengthens it, because it signals confidence and humility simultaneously. Influence is also rooted in consistency of action. Words are powerful, but actions confirm authenticity. Leaders who consistently act in alignment with their words reinforce their authority, credibility, and persuasive power. Inconsistency erodes trust, while reliability amplifies influence. Let's examine mental techniques to enhance presence and influence. Visualization. Mentally rehearse situations where you command presence and influence effectively. Imagine your energy, tone, and gestures aligning perfectly with your message. Entering practices. Ground yourself before high-stakes interactions with meditation, deep breathing, or affirmations. A calm, focused mind amplifies your natural authority. Audience mapping. Understand your listeners' motivations, fears, and expectations. Tailor your energy, tone, and stories to resonate with their perspectives. Energy calibration. Adjust your own energy to the room. Too high can overwhelm. Too low can disengage. Leaders learn to read the emotional atmosphere and align themselves accordingly. Presence and influence also depend on strategic pauses and pacing. Deliberate pauses signal authority, allow reflection, and build anticipation. Leaders use silence to punctuate points, emphasize meaning, and give listeners space to absorb ideas. Pacing controls attention, reinforces clarity, and communicates calm confidence. Another often overlooked factor is environmental awareness. The way you position yourself, the space you occupy, and the dynamics of the room contribute to presence. Leaders use spatial awareness to command attention, facilitate engagement, and reinforce authority. Small adjustments, stance, movement, eye contact create significant impact. Influence is not coercion. It is the ability to guide, inspire, and elevate others. Leaders understand that their role is to enable action, not to dictate blindly. Influence works best when aligned with shared purpose, empathy, and clarity of message. Your presence should make others feel empowered, motivated, and confident in their own decisions. Mastery of influence and presence is built on daily habits and reflection. Review speeches, interactions, and responses. Note what reinforced presence and what undermined it. Practice posture, gestures, and vocal modulation daily. Cultivate empathy through observation, listening, and reflection. Align actions with words consistently to strengthen credibility. Presence is also magnetic energy, not just technique. People feel it. It inspires them. It makes your message not just heard, but internalized. Influence grows exponentially when presence is genuine, confident, and consistent. Finally, consider the legacy of leadership presence. Leaders remembered are those whose words and energy left an imprint on hearts and minds. Presence and influence extend beyond immediate interactions. They shape culture, inspire action, and define how people remember you. Every word, gesture, and action contributes to this legacy. True leadership is not only in what you say, but in the presence you carry and the influence you radiate. Master both, and your words will echo long after they are spoken. Conclusion. The truth is this: leadership is not an accident. It is not a title, a position, or even a role that is handed to you. Leadership is a practice. It is a daily commitment to clarity, discipline, authenticity, and influence. Everything you've learned throughout this audiobook, from mindset to tone, from body language to storytelling, from handling pressure to cultivating presence, forms a cohesive system for becoming the leader you are capable of being. Think back to chapter 1, where we explored the foundations of mindset, the questions you asked yourself, the ways you learned to focus your energy, and the recognition that your inner dialogue shapes your outer impact were not abstract ideas. They are the pillars of personal power. A leader begins not by commanding others, but by mastering their own mind. The clarity you cultivate within becomes the clarity you project without. The focus you practice daily becomes the focus that guides teams, inspires followers, and fuels lasting change. In chapter 2, we delved into preparation before speaking. Words matter, but preparation ensures that your words are effective. Leaders do not leave their influence to chance. They prepare relentlessly, anticipating questions, refining arguments, and aligning their communication with purpose. Every conversation, every interaction, every moment you engage is an opportunity to strengthen your impact. The daily commitment to preparation separates reactive communicators from proactive leaders. Chapter 3 taught us the importance of tone, pace, and emotion. Your words alone are insufficient. The way you deliver them transforms meaning, evokes emotion, and compels action. Leaders understand that speaking with intention, modulating voice, and connecting emotionally is not optional. It is essential. The audience listens, not just with ears, but with hearts. Your tone signals confidence. Your pace signals clarity. Your emotion signals authenticity. When all three align, your message becomes unforgettable. In chapter 4, we explored body language, the silent language of leadership. How you stand, how you move, how you engage visually with others speaks volumes. Even before your first word, your audience perceives confidence, credibility, and authenticity, or the lack thereof. Leaders cultivate posture, gestures, facial expressions, and presence intentionally. Every movement reinforces the message you are delivering. Your body is your amplifier, and mastery of it is a daily practice that enhances your influence in every setting. Storytelling and persuasion, as covered in chapter 5, revealed the power of narrative to inspire, connect, and persuade. Leaders are not simply conveyors of information, they are creators of experience. Stories make abstract principles, concrete ideas memorable, and lessons relatable. Persuasion does not come from force, it comes from resonance, alignment, and emotional connection. Every story you tell, every metaphor you employ, and every personal anecdote is a tool to leave lasting impact. Through narrative, you guide, inspire, and elevate those who listen. Chapter 6 introduced the art of handling tough questions and pressure. Leadership is forged in moments of challenge, not comfort. Every difficult question, every high-pressure scenario is an opportunity to demonstrate composure, clarity, and authority. Leaders do not shy away from scrutiny. They prepare, they pause, they respond with confidence and integrity. Your response under pressure signals your internal state and sets the tone for how others perceive your capability. The ability to remain calm, collected, and authoritative under stress is a skill that must be practiced, refined, and internalized. Consistency, as we explored in Chapter 7, is the engine that drives long-term influence. Daily focus, deliberate practice, and reflection are what separate fleeting brilliance from lasting leadership. A single great speech does not define you. Consistent alignment of words, actions, and presence does. Your audience, colleagues, and followers respond not to occasional moments of greatness, but to the steady, reliable, and authentic pattern you create. A disciplined daily system combining preparation, reflection, and practice turns capability into mastery. Finally, Chapter 8 revealed the pinnacle: advanced influence and leadership presence. Presence is energy. Influence is resonance. Together, they create the magnetic force that draws people to you, inspires loyalty, and drives action. True leaders project confidence without arrogance, authenticity without pretense, and authority without fear. They cultivate self-mastery, empathy, and adaptability. They understand that leadership is not about being noticed, it is about being felt. Every word, gesture, and pause contributes to the impression you leave behind. Presence is cultivated daily, refined continuously, and expressed authentically. So where do you go from here? The path forward is not in grand gestures or waiting for perfect conditions. It begins in small, deliberate actions repeated daily. Speak with intention. Practice relentlessly. Reflect honestly. Align your mind, body, and emotions. Harness preparation, tone, and body language. Craft stories that resonate. Respond under pressure with poise. Build consistency in your communication. And above all, cultivate presence that inspires and influence that empowers. Leadership is a journey, not a destination. Every conversation you have, every interaction you engage in, every challenge you face is a step toward mastery. The habits you develop now will shape your credibility, your authority, and your ability to inspire. Remember, influence grows exponentially when anchored in authenticity, refined through practice, and expressed with presence. Your voice is your instrument. Your mind is your foundation. Your presence is your power. Use them deliberately. Commit to growth. Lead with courage. Inspire with authenticity. And never underestimate the ripple effect of consistent, purposeful communication. Today, you have the tools. Today, you have the understanding. Today, you have the clarity. But mastery comes through action, through showing up consistently, through practicing intentionally, and through living the principles you've learned. So take the first step now. Speak, reflect, refine, and repeat. Your journey as a leader is not defined by your title, your audience, or even your words. It is defined by your courage to communicate with clarity, confidence, and conviction every single day. Remember, the world listens not to the loudest voice, but to the voice that aligns words with purpose, presence with action, and influence with authenticity. You have that power. It is within you. And now it is time to use it. Your leadership begins with you. Your influence begins with your voice. And your presence begins with the commitment to grow, to refine, and to lead authentically. Step into your power. Speak with clarity. Lead with purpose. And leave a legacy that resonates long after your words are spoken.